Hello, everyone. I am back today. I just finished doing the wonderful live stream with Tanya on her channel, and I thought I would go ahead and record a video for tomorrow as well, since here we are. So I have linked that live stream in the description box, so make sure you go and check that out. Today, we're talking about faulty 50-50 relationship and independent women relationship math that I have seen and I've also done in my life. So let me set this video up by first saying that we are all trying to be and evolving into conscious beings, right? And one thing that a lot of spiritual people forget is, yes, we can all just decide to be spiritual beings and say that the rules of evolution don't apply, or they're outdated, or the rules of polarity don't apply, or the rules of sexual attraction don't apply. But they do apply because we're still in this human body, and this human body has millions of years of history. So maybe in the next 100 years, 200 years, 1,000 years, we're all going to consciously evolve so much that we can just sit on mountains and be conscious beings, and no one will have genders, and no one will need to have sex, and no one will need to procreate and things. And I think that's where we're headed, maybe, right? But right now, most of the planet is not very conscious. We like to think that we're conscious, but we're on this journey. We're not all conscious. I'm still doing my inner work. I still have to choose consciousness, choose love every single day. So the whole point of teaching you guys this evolutionary history and polarity and gender roles isn't to take women back into the 1900s or 1800s or caveman days. No, far from it. It's to be intelligent. It's to use our body's natural innate intelligence and then consciously evolve it. We can't just consciously evolve without the body. We are in the body. Whether you like it or not, we're in this vehicle together, right? So what I'm teaching you to do is to take how we have spent millions of years creating polarity and love and attraction and gender roles and stuff, and evolve it. So there's 3 different ways to look at this. Like back in the caveman days, right? Everyone was just in survival, right? We just did what we needed to do to survive. And there was certain rules and laws of polarity and things that we followed, but everything was based on survival because life was really, really hard in that time, right? They didn't have the luxury of abundance and prosperity. They were just in survival. Times were hard. So they did that for a long time. Then when society became a little bit more civilized, women, there was gender roles and there was natural polarity, but women didn't have a lot of rights, right? Like women were almost like property. They were treated like second-class citizens. So that didn't work. There was natural polarity then because men were men and women were women, but there was some abuse. And so then we had to evolve out of that. Then we went to the stage of like fairness, 50-50. Everyone's equal. But then that's the stage we're in right now, by the way. But then we quickly started realizing that we weren't honoring what it meant to be a man, and we weren't honoring what it meant to be a woman. And 50-50 didn't make us feel madly in love and fulfilled, because the truth is, in my 13-year marriage, life hasn't always been fair. Sometimes I got the better end of the deal, and sometimes my husband got the better end of the deal, because that's just life, right? Like when I was pregnant with my second 2 kids, I was put on bed rest. I went through health issues. Was that fair? No, but that's just life, right? When 9 years I spent as a stay-at-home mom and my husband had to wake up every morning and go to work and provide, was that fair? No, but he enjoyed doing that out of the love and wanting to provide for his family. So fairness doesn't really work in love. Fairness doesn't create attraction. So now we're in this big stage, next stage. In this next stage, we can't say men and women don't exist. No, because we're in this body, and I'm in a woman's body and my husband's in a man's body. So we have to go back and say, okay, so based on our evolutionary history, these are women's hormones and women's emotions and women's body and needs and cycles and all of that stuff. And this is man's needs. Some things are good and they work, and some things seem a little bit toxic or not for us. And so how can we take what works and evolve it into the next level? That is what I'm teaching over here. Okay, I think as a planet, that's our next level. We can't ignore that we're in this body, because we are in this body, right? Like, in order to create sexual attraction and polarity, we have to take the body with us. You can't just pretend, close your eyes and be conscious and have sex. Like, you have to do it with the body, right? So that energy and that polarity is still needed. So hope that it explains why we're taking that framework, because that's millions of years of history, and how we're evolving it. Obviously, not everyone's there, so we have to keep repeating and teaching this stuff so more and more people get it. Now, what is this faulty math that I've been talking about? So some women think, independent women, that if they are in a relationship and they let the man be a man and provide and care for them and love them, that they will lose control or they will take advantage of. So here's where the faulty math begins. Science was a way better subject for me than math, but I understand math enough to know that this doesn't make sense, okay? So let's talk about it. Let's say that I make $10,000 a month and I have $10,000 a month. Here it is, okay? And I get into a relationship and I'm like, oh my goodness, if he pays for everything and he loves me and provides for me, he's gonna take advantage of me. So I take 5,000 of that dollars and I give it to him. Now I get to have 50% say in the relationship, but now I'm only left with $5,000. So I have 50% control and $5,000 left, right? So that's the independent woman math. Remember that, because we're going to what I'm teaching. So what I'm teaching is, if you have your job and you make $10,000 a month and you get into a relationship and he's the man, he provides for you, he loves you, and because he loves you and you know how to create that gut level reaction, he's asking for your opinion. Where do you want to eat? Where do you want to live? And you let him know. Now you have something like me. I have my husband considers my opinion about 97, 98% of the time in the decisions, because I'm his woman. He wants to make me happy, right? And sometimes he doesn't agree and he makes the decision himself. So now I have about 97, 98% control, but I get to keep my $10,000. So how does he take advantage of that? I'm really confused how people get this math. So I'm open to learning. If I'm missing something, tell me. Because a lot of independent women think that they will be independent if they give the man the 50% of their money. But now they have 50% less. What if the man doesn't need your money? The hunter doesn't need you to give him meat. You can keep your money and you can show up as a feminine being, and you bring your feminine gifts and your energy and your loving and the honey that I talk about. And he brings his masculine gifts, the leadership, the direction, the providing, the protecting, and you still come ahead because you didn't have to buy control. You didn't have to give him half of your money to feel love. See? So this is faulty math. Now, the third thing I want to talk about, let me take a little sip, is oftentimes women say that if they get married and they move into his house, and then they'll end up on the street, things like that, if the relationship breaks up. So how will you end up on the street? You will end up where you were before that. So I'm assuming that you're not on the street now, right? So my clients, the average salary of my clients is about $150,000. I work with lawyers, doctors, CEO, boss women, scientists, PhDs, teachers, stay-at-home moms, amazing, brilliant, badass women that have all kinds of incomes and passive incomes and things like that. So it's not like a man is taking them off the street and putting them in his house. No, they're creating this divine union together. So, for example, when I got married, we were deciding if we were going to live in my condo in Chicago or my husband's house in a different state that he was living in. And so we made that decision together. So some people, may have said, well, what happens if the marriage doesn't work? Then I go and buy another house. I still have my education. I still have my health. I still have my ability to earn more money, right? Like that can happen in any relationship. Even if I brought 50% of the income and I said half the house is mine, it could still end, right? You can't take half the house. You would still either have to sell the house or you would have to buy him out. So do you see that we do all this like really faulty math? What I bought into the relationship was me, my education, my health, my integrity, my love, my heart, my soul. So if it didn't work out, I still have my education, girl. I can go get a job tomorrow. I can start another business tomorrow. I can go and get my life together again, right? Plus, I live in the United States where we have legal ways of protection, right? So I'm not sure how a lot of women come up with these questions, but there was a woman that posted a question a few weeks back saying she let a man provide for her for 4 years and then that relationship ended and she ended up on the street. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that, but what were you doing in this 4 years, girl? If someone else is paying all your bills in 4 years, why were you not getting a higher education or starting a business or saving your own money or building up your skill set? That's on you, babe. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell you the truth if you're my friend, right? So when I married my husband, my business was in a different state. So when I moved into his state, I had to end that business. I was in the real estate business. So we decided that I was just going to be a stay-at-home mom. He wanted more babies. I already had a son from my previous marriage. So we had 2 more kids and I was just a stay-at-home mom for 9 years. But when I say I was just a stay-at-home mom, I was working on myself. Okay. I lost weight. I read like thousands of books there. I'm not joking. Thousands of books, like Audible books, things that I wanted. I worked out. I got in the best shape of my life. I got therapy. I got coaching and mentorship. I bought programs. That 9 years, like I don't even recognize myself. I built myself up like you won't even believe. Okay. Then when I started my business with all this new time and energy and consciousness and skill sets that I had, right? Within the first year, I was making multiple 6 figures. I started in 2017 and my company makes multiple 7 figures a year. So how can I end up on the street? How? It's not possible because I have a great deal of experience, knowledge, skill set, intelligence, love. I'm in sacred service. I want to help people, right? So how can I end up on the street? Because I let a man love me and provide for me. I don't understand. Faulty math, but that's what happens. It's like our ego makes all these crazy, addicted to suffering, problem making, as spiritual teachers like to say. So I thought I'd make this video for you guys and answer some of these questions. So no one else can make you end up on the street. No one else. As long as you're doing your inner work, you're getting that education, you're moving forward, you're investing in yourself, you will never end up on the street, girl. So let yourself be loved. It's time. Let yourself be loved. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.